Have you ever wondered if there could be a scientific explanation for the biblical account of Genesis 1? In the vast expanse of human understanding, two domains of thought often stand apart: science and religion. Each offers its unique perspective on the world, one through the lens of empirical evidence and reason, the other through faith and spiritual insight. Yet there are moments where these two seemingly divergent paths intersect, creating a fascinating fusion of science and scripture. One such intersection is found in the first chapter of Genesis, the opening book of the Bible. This ancient text recounts the creation narrative, painting a vivid picture of the universe's birth and the Earth's formation. It tells us of a world brought into existence in 7 days, each day marking a distinct stage in the creation process. Now you might be thinking, how can a religious text written thousands of years ago possibly align with our modern understanding of cosmology and the origins of life? Well, that's the intriguing question that has piqued the curiosity of scholars, scientists, and theologians alike. They are drawn to this intellectual challenge of reconciling faith with scientific fact, of finding common ground between the sacred and the secular. Genesis 1, in its poetic grandeur, speaks of the Earth's creation in a sequence of events: the formation of light, the separation of the waters to form the sky and the earth, the emergence of plant life, the creation of the sun, moon, and stars, and finally, the appearance of animals and human beings. This sequence, when viewed through the prism of modern science, presents a thought-provoking parallel to our current understanding of the universe's evolution. Could there be a scientific explanation hidden within this ancient religious text? Could the words of Genesis 1 be echoing the findings of modern science? These are the questions we'll explore as we journey through the intersection of science and scripture. So, buckle your intellectual seatbelts and prepare for an enlightening ride. Stay tuned as we unravel the scientific elements in Genesis 1. The opening verse of Genesis, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth," has intrigued scientists and theologians alike. Our journey into the cosmos begins with the Big Bang Theory, a widely accepted explanation for the inception of the universe. It suggests that around 13.8 billion years ago, all matter, energy, space, and time were compressed into a state of singularity. This singularity, smaller than the head of a pin and infinitely dense, suddenly and inexplicably expanded, giving birth to our universe. In a fraction of a second, this singularity underwent a rapid inflation, expanding faster than the speed of light. As it expanded, it cooled, and the fundamental elements emerged. Hydrogen, helium, and traces of lithium, the building blocks of our universe, were formed. Over billions of years, these elements coalesced into galaxies, stars, and eventually, planets. Now let's draw a parallel to the biblical narrative. The phrase, "in the beginning," suggests a starting point, an initiation. This corresponds to the concept of singularity in the Big Bang Theory, a moment when the universe sprang into existence. The Genesis account states that God created the heavens and the earth. In the context of the Big Bang Theory, the heavens can be seen as the vast expanse of the universe and earth as matter. It's interesting to note the correlation between the two narratives. The universe's formation from a singularity aligns with the idea of creation ex nihilo, creation out of nothing, a philosophical and theological concept. In both narratives, there is an expansion. The universe, once a singularity, expands in the Big Bang Theory. This expansion can be seen as a parallel to the creation of the heavens, an ever-stretching canvas upon which the stars are painted. In the end, whether we look through the lens of science or scripture, we arrive at the same fundamental truth. This verse and the Big Bang Theory both agree on one thing: the universe had a beginning. When Genesis mentions "and God said, let there be light," could it be referring to the formation of stars? Let's dig into the fascinating world of astrophysics to explore this possibility. Stars, those twinkling points of light in the night sky, are born in the cold, dark recesses of space. The process begins with a massive cloud of gas and dust, known as a nebula. Within this nebula, pockets of gas and dust begin to clump together under the influence of gravity. As these clumps grow larger and larger, their gravitational pull becomes stronger, attracting even more matter. Eventually, the pressure and temperature at the heart of these clumps becomes so intense that nuclear fusion begins. This is the process where hydrogen atoms combine to form helium, releasing a tremendous amount of energy in the process. This energy then radiates outward, pushing against the inward pull of gravity. This delicate balance between gravity and radiation pressure is what forms a star and keeps it stable. Now, here's the dazzling part. The energy produced by nuclear fusion is what gives a star its light. This light then travels across the vast expanse of space, reaching our planet and allowing us to see the star. So when we look up at the night sky, we are essentially witnessing the result of countless nuclear reactions that happened light years away. Isn't that incredible? Now let's circle back to Genesis. When the text says, "Let there be light," it could be seen as a poetic representation of this process, the formation of stars, the ignition of nuclear fusion, the release of light. It's a breathtakingly beautiful sequence of events that fills our universe with light. In this light, the biblical account can be viewed not as a literal description of the creation process, but rather a metaphorical one. It's a poetic way of describing the natural phenomena that science has since explained to us. So, the light in Genesis could indeed be a poetic reference to the creation of stars. The Bible talks about the separation of waters from the waters. Could this be a metaphor for the formation of Earth? Let's dive into this. There are several theories about the formation of Earth, one of the most popular being the nebular hypothesis. This theory suggests that about 4.5 billion years ago, a nebula of dust and gas began to collapse under its own gravity. As this nebula collapsed, it began to spin, forming a disk. In the center of this disk, a protostar formed, eventually becoming our sun. The remaining material in the disk began to stick together, forming planetesimals, which eventually coalesced into planets, one of which is our home, Earth. This process, from the collapse of the nebula to the formation of the Earth, took around 100 million years. Now, how does this scientific account correspond to the biblical notion of the separation of waters? In the book of Genesis, the waters are separated to form the sky and the sea, creating a space in between. Some scholars believe that this could be a metaphor for the formation of Earth. Think about it. The nebula, a vast expanse of gas and dust, could be seen as waters. The process of collapse and spinning could be viewed as a separation, forming the sun and the planets, including Earth. In this interpretation, the waters above could represent the nebula or the space beyond Earth, while the waters below could symbolize the Earth itself or the matter from which it was formed. Remember, the authors of Genesis were trying to explain the world's origins to people with no understanding of modern science or cosmology. They used metaphors and language that their audience could comprehend. Genesis may have been describing the formation of Earth in a way understandable to people of that time. We've journeyed through the universe's creation to the formation of Earth, all through the lens of Genesis 1. It's been a breathtaking expedition, where we've seen the remarkable parallels between scientific understanding and the words written in an ancient scripture. Let's do a quick rewind. We began our exploration with the Big Bang Theory, the cosmological model that explains the birth of our universe. We delved into the concept of a singularity, the point of infinite density and heat that exploded to create everything we know and see. We then drew a parallel with the opening verse of Genesis 1, "In the beginning," and how it seems to echo the genesis of the universe as described by science. Next, we ventured into the formation of stars, these burning balls of gas that light up our universe. We discussed how light was the first thing to emerge post the Big Bang, similar to the divine command, "Let there be light," in Genesis 1. We explored how stars formed from clouds of gas and dust, a process that took billions of years, and how this aligns with the biblical account of the heavens being filled with lights. Our journey then took us to the formation of Earth. We learned about the gradual process of the Earth's formation, from a hot molten mass to a hospitable home for life. We drew parallels with the biblical separation of waters, which led to the emergence of dry land, and how this could be seen as a metaphor for the Earth's formation process. Whether you're a scientist, a theologian, or just an inquisitive mind, it's fascinating to see how ancient scripture can align with modern science. We've uncovered some compelling similarities, but also differences which only enrich our understanding and spark further questions. So, keep asking those questions, keep exploring, keep pondering the mysteries of our universe. After all, it's in the questioning that we grow. It's in the exploration that we discover, and it's in the discovery that we find truth. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring,